So it's very, very important that we should try to pass, at least, if I have 5 children, at least make one child alim. At least if I have 5, if I have 4, at least make one child a alim or a hafiz. Give it a try. Try your best. As soon as you make your child, you send him to the madaris, believe me, in today, in the schools and colleges, we know the situations there. And we should be worried about our daughters more than our sons. We should be worried about our daughters more than our sons. Look, Rasulullah ﷺ said, if a person has 2 daughters, he has 2 daughters, and he teaches her deen, teaches her adab, gives her, you know what's the best thing you can teach your children? Teach them adab, give them deen, give them religion, give them knowledge, and then you marry them off. Rasulullah ﷺ said, he will be with me like this in the day of Qiyamah. He will be like this. He didn't say this about the boy. He said about the girls. So we should be more worried about our girls as well. Yes, our boys as well. So I am not saying that we disconnect our children to worldly knowledge as well. But I'm saying that if we give them time for this, if we get out 8 hours there, at least we should try our best to give 1 hour over here. Today, the resources, the material, today, like for example, especially the youngsters, I can see a couple of youngsters, so I might as well mention this as well. Especially the youngsters, they're using, like for example, their mobile phones. And in one mobile phone, there is like 2 gigabyte, 30 gigabyte, 32 gigabyte. And in this gigabyte, you can put maybe the whole Quran and Hadith and all the Sunnah, everything. But what do? They use these instruments and they're listening to music. They use their iPods to listen to music. Today, the internet system, I would not say this is the result of acquiring knowledge, but use these instruments for good cause. Don't use it for bad cause. Don't use it for bad cause. Use it to acquire, to learn something, to listen to something good. Even if you're driving, you have a CD player, you have an MP3 player, at least maybe you can listen, like for example, some lectures instead of listening to music. So at least if you heard something, at least you will learn 1 word or 2, and it might even change your life as well. So the resources are too many today. Too many. In those days, the resources was less. But people strive to learn the knowledge. People strive to learn the knowledge. Allah Ta'ala says that إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاءِ. Allah says in the Quran, the person, the more God-fearing person is a person who is the ulamas. They are the most fearing person on the surface of the earth. Because if you recognize, you know, Imam Bukhari, rahimahumullah, Imam Bukhari, he brings Babu Qawlul Ilm Qabala Al-Amal. Today people say that amal is important. To do action is important. Knowledge is not important. No. Imam Bukhari, he's clarified this. He said, he has brought Babul Ilm Qabala Al-Amal. He brought knowledge first and then amal. Because if you have knowledge, then you will know how to worship Allah. If you have knowledge, you will have the understanding. You will have the understanding to differentiate what is right and wrong. If you have knowledge of deen, then you will know how to respect. If you had knowledge, then you will know what to do in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Imam Bukhari, he brings ilm before amal. But this is a different thing, that when a person starts practicing on his knowledge, then obviously Allah Ta'ala makes him or gives him such knowledge that he cannot imagine. Man amila bima alima, allama Allahu ma lam ya'lam. When you practice what you have learnt, Allah will teach you such knowledge that you have not learned before. Allah will teach you such knowledge. That's why, you know, the Sahabas, you know, before they transmitted the knowledge, you know, in the time of the Sahabas, before they transmitted the knowledge, you know what their first they used to do? When they got the knowledge, they first practiced it. And then they transmitted the knowledge to someone else. But today, information is too much. Research is too much. Libraries, too much. You know, this library system in this country, or we see so many libraries, this library system actually came from Islam. In Basra, in Iraq, in Qurtuba, there were over 400,000 libraries, private and public. Over. So, this library system, like for example in Spain, in one time, it was a religious, you can say, state as well. Islamic state as well. But today, if you go to Spain, you will see no Islam. You will see no Islam. Do you know why? Because what happens, according to the Quran, when you start forgetting about Allah, Allah will forget about you. فَأَنْسَاهُمْ. They forgot about the religion. They left religion behind their back. They didn't give priority to religion. They didn't give priority to Islam. And what happened? Slowly, deen has went and gone from there. So much so that they said in the documentary, the historians, they have written that in Spain, even a whole ocean became ink. A whole ocean became ink of knowledge. What happened? They threw all the books of knowledge, the proper knowledge was in the books, and they threw them all in the oceans. Some scholars, they say, if we had these books, the scholars, they say, if we had these books today, we will be running on the world. If the dunya, if the ulamas today had this knowledge. But this is the qaddar Allahu ma sha. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to be happen. This is all predestined in the books of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So brothers, I would urge, it's very, very important. There's two categories, and I will just finish my talk, inshallah. There's two things. Obviously the hadith says, طَلَبُ الْعِلْمُ فَرِيزَةٌ عَلَى كُلِّ مُسْلِمٍ وَالْمُسْلِمَاتِ. It is farz, it is compulsory, mandatory upon every male and female to acquire knowledge. What mandatory is this talking about? It's talking about, for example, you should know how to pray your namaz properly. You should know how to calculate and give your accurate zakat. You should know and learn how to do hajj. You should know how to fast and all the masail relating to Ramadan. This is your farz here. And the scholars, what they are doing, this is farz kifaya. They are fulfilling the mission behalf of the ummah. Because Allah does not make everyone do ulamas. But one thing is, that the most important thing is, if I am not the people of knowledge, if I am not Ahli Ilm, at least I should respect the Ahli Ilm. I just give you one last thing and I will just finish. I had so many things to talk about and I researched and looked into so many things, but I can't touch everything today. One last thing, when I was talking about respecting the people of knowledge, it's so important that when Allah Ta'ala, when we came back, if we come to the beginning, Allah Ta'ala told all the angels to prostrate due to the respect to Hazrat Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. Because Allah gave him something superior to the angels. What was this? This was knowledge. وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءِ. But do you know that the first, the first servant of Allah, the first angel of Allah was Israfil alayhi salatu wasalam. Straight away he bowed down in front of Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. So his respectness and obedience to the hukum of Allah was so quick. And Allah saw Israfil alayhi salatu wasalam, because of him giving that respect to Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, because he was the knowledgeable one. Because he gave that respect, Allah put on his forehead the full Quran. Allah put on his forehead the full Quran. So what does this mean? The scholars, they pinpoint, they say something on this. They say that even if you are not people of knowledge, but if you respect the people of knowledge, Allah in the day of Qiyamah will resurrect you with those people of knowledge. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept what has been said and make this the means and zariya of hidayah for me. Jazakallah. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi wa shalla la ilaha illa anta.